Joining me now is Texas Congresswoman Beth Van Duyne. Congresswoman, good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. First, your reaction to what went down in Texas yesterday.
Well, I think I was watching a middle school theater class, when I'm watching some of my state Democrat representatives speak. The fact is that, look, Texas has needed to redraw. We were undercounted in the census. It makes sense. It's precedented. It has been done numerous times. I know states like California and New York are belly aching because Texas is actually stepping up and getting more Republican seats. But the fact is that we're reflecting the will of Texans, and we're going to send more conservative voices to D.C. to speak on behalf of the Lone Star State. This has been done. We have seen it abused time and time again by these blue states, and now you're hearing the belly aching because Republicans are actually playing by the same rules that Democrats set out. But I'm excited. I think what's going to happen this week is you're going to see the Senate side pick that up in the state. They're going to pass the maps. It's going to be sent to Governor Abbott, and it's probably going to be signed hopefully by the end of this week.
Well, I mean, that's what the vice president told me when I spoke with him just about a week ago or so. He said he's not sure what all the outrage is because Democrats have been redistricting for years. In fact, he used the term, there's not a lot of juice left in the lemon, because he says there's not much more they can do. They've been doing this consistently. Here's the vice president when he just got back from Texas, meeting with state lawmakers there about this issue. Watch.
Until a couple of years ago that, for apportioning representatives, you actually count illegal aliens. So California has way more House seats than it should because they have such a high population of illegal aliens. So they get rewarded for welcoming illegal aliens into their state, giving them federal benefits, actually asking the taxpayers of states like Ohio to subsidize them. And then those same taxpayers in Ohio and Indiana and elsewhere, they have fewer congressional representatives because of what California has allowed to happen. Even Democrats actually admit this, that the census in 2020 had a major statistical error. And what that meant is that you actually undercounted a few states that are Republican, like Florida and Ohio. You overcounted some blue states. But the only way for us to do it is to actually go and do the hard work to reset the scales a little bit. What we want to do is redo the census, but importantly, we want to redistrict some of these red states, and we want to make the congressional apportionment fair in this country.
Yeah, this was about a week and a half ago. He had just returned from Indiana, Congresswoman, and he was doing redistricting in Indiana. But you heard what he said. The California story has been all about illegals.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, then you also have members in New York, Yvette Clarke, for example, who admits it, says out loud, we need to make sure that we are counting folks who are here illegally. Otherwise, her district may be at risk of not existing anymore because people are voting with their feet. Citizens are moving to states like Texas, like Tennessee, like Florida, because the policies more reflect their values. And you see what's coming out of Illinois and California and New York. But yeah, no, he's absolutely right. Democrats have been doing this. They have very calculated ways, very strategic ways that they've done it simply to hold on to power. And now they're upset because the state of Texas is doing it. But, you look at California, nearly 40% of their vote was Republican, and yet only 9 out of 52 of their seats are Republican. So even if Texas redistricts and we get 5 new seats, our percentage of Democrat votes will still be higher by voting population than California has for Republican voters votes.
And yet they've got the drama and theatrics of a Broadway play over here in terms of what took place in Texas. Meanwhile, President Trump's budget director, Russ Vought, is considering a pocket rescission to cancel federal money ahead of a potential government shutdown next month, the move sparking debate by a handful of Republican senators. It would cancel congressionally authorized funding without a vote, the vote defending the move, saying that the tactic has been used before. The money simply evaporates at the end of the fiscal year anyway, Congresswoman. Your reaction to that this morning?
Look, I think I would love to be able to go back to pre-COVID levels of spend.
Yeah.
We spent entirely too much as an excuse for the pandemic. We need to get back to reasonable levels of spend. We have a $37 trillion debt. And the House conservatives, bring it. Let's go. Let's cut the debt. We've already been able to see how with the DOGE efforts, they've identified, over $100 billion just of waste, fraud, and abuse at first pass. Yes, this is what we need to do. It's hard to imagine Democrats who have been bellyaching the last few months about how high our debt is not wanting to do something about it. But if you can identify areas that we haven't needed to spend, we haven't spent yet, why would they force them to do that? I can't imagine that ever going in any private sector. Why do we allow it in the public sector? But yeah, I think House conservatives we've already said we need to be able to cut down on the spend, and they can identify it.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Well, look, you're going to have to work with Democrats in a couple of weeks, otherwise face a government shutdown. Are you expecting a shutdown? Does Senator Schumer want that?
Nobody wants a shutdown. Republicans do not want a shutdown. We want to make sure that this administration that is doing so much good is able to continue to do that good. But at the same token, you
might not have a willing partner because some of your colleagues say Schumer does want to shut down.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. I think every single time Democrats are in the minority, that's what they're hoping to do, because they want to show that they're not going to support, the government as much as they bellyache when they are in charge. And we don't support a bloated budget. They're going to fight us. It's every step of the way. But we don't want to have a continuing resolution after continuing resolution. We should be able to pass appropriation bills, and we should be able to pass a budget. I mean, this is not rocket science.
We will be watching the work once you all are back in Washington. Congresswoman, good to see you. Thank you. Beth Van Duyne joining us this morning in Texas.